it all comes together in due time, and God is in control.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, that's
Okay.
that's one. Say that again, Phil.
I said, we'll take it there. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay. I'll come back and say, right, it probably was not.
No, but you know what? I'm glad we're talking about it in this way, because I think people need to hear it, and need to hear it in context. They need to hear things like this in context to what really was, or what really is, or what the story really was behind all of that, and how things really came to be. People have a fixated notion of, you know, oh man, they were just rebels. They just went out there and did whatever. And then you don't really know the heart of the individuals who were actually going out to do it, and how they were even thinking of us, thinking of people like me, trying to pave a way for us to do what we do, doing what we're doing right now. That's the crazy thing, is that we're still doing it. And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because for me, you know, of course, I didn't witness those guys before us, but for you all, I witnessed what you did. And I tell people everywhere I go, and they want to talk to me, you know, you know the Campbell Brothers? Yeah, I know them. You know, I'm proud to talk about you guys, because you paved the way for us. You know, of course, the ones that even before you all paved the way for all of us, but tangibly, you all paved the way for me, Robert, Belt, the Lee Boys. I can go on and on and on and on. And if it wasn't for you guys' stand and the way you all took a chance to dive into places that were controversial and would have gotten you backlash, we probably would not be doing what we're doing now. So I appreciate you all for doing that, and for being brave enough to take the backlash for us, because in essence, it was a sacrifice, you know, and I recognize it as that you guys did, because it really was a sacrifice. Even the projects that you guys have done, even for the church, and I know we kind of talked about this before we went on live. Man, I think it was a talk I did with the drummers. We would talk about the centennial, the millennial projects that we did, and just so much good music that was recorded that just never got pushed out. You know, if it wasn't for you guys, a lot of that would not have even come to fruition of being able to just logistically record it, or have the avenue to want to do something like that. That's massive for me. I'm sure there are a lot of people on the feed who saying the same thing and talking and liking the post and responding to what we're talking about, because what you guys have done is really unprecedented. You guys are doing it, and you're doing it big. You guys are in the Smithsonian, you know, and the music is doing it itself, but you guys have paved the way for a lot of us. So if you haven't heard it publicly, I'm here to publicly tell you guys, thank you. You're laying a foundation continuously for us. You're out here doing things, and it's really, it says a lot about your character. It says a lot about your integrity, but it says a lot about the Spirit of God in you, you know, that does it, and you're doing it for the reason that you guys just stated. You all were looking out for us.
Yeah,
you all were looking out for us.
You know, it's you make it sound much bigger than
no, it really is. It really is.
We were just thinking in terms of sharing, and also just thinking in terms of it wasn't just us, right? I mean, to me, I think that was the biggest thing. That when we think of all the people that have poured into us to help us get to where we were, all those things, it just would not be right to come out here and reap all the benefits and not somehow make sure that people understood what these folks did, one, to help us get here, but also what they did to help create this music, and even create the style that we have, that we based our foundation on.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, it was just giving credit. if you know more in that context and all that. And yeah, I do think that there was an element of, we think we can set things up for future generations. And again, that was part of the recording thing, right? That once the Millennial Project was simply to prove we had the talent and we could do it. And one of the big things about the Millennial Project was, when we formed that group, those folks were picked. We picked that team. Chuck and I picked that team. And the whole idea behind it was that these were folks who were capable of writing music. Because the most important thing, we weren't just going to come on and redo covers or do traditional songs. We wanted original music. And then we wanted to prove to the church that we had the talent to do an original CD, right? And that's what that Millennial Project was. And then once we proved it, the other backside of it was, we was to prove that it was economically viable.
Right.
Well, that whole effort was undercut because there were also, that's why we did everything we needed to do to get that CD ready to be released in the General Assembly so that people could buy it. But then the folks in charge at the time said, no, we're not going to sell it. So that whole thing. So what we were going to prove was that the church could make money by investing in its members in recording, right? And then once we set that precedent and people saw that, that's what was going to create more opportunities for all these music. Because then it was, you had the the Jacksonettes, right? And you had Rick Fowler, and you had, the Lee Boys, and you had all these different artists, Katie Jackson, all these different artists in the church who never have released their own album from a national standpoint within the church and have the church back it. A la what, like I said, what the Church of God in Christ does, or what the PAW does, and those kinds of organizations. And that's what we were hoping to create and prove that we were viable and could be in that game too. Right. And we did deliver the product, but as far as the whole back end effort to truly realize the entire vision, no, that didn't happen. But
the economics of this is in essence is the first thing we try to convey to people. Doing a record or doing a recording, the number one goal is not to so much make money,
right,
or the gain fame and fortune. It's more to make a historical record of what you have been, what you are at that point, from a musical standpoint.
Right.
So we got into recording so that we could always, so when we listen to Chosen Few, we hear what we were back then, and it's a historical record.
Right.
And the thing that really impressed me about that was, I remember Elder Beard and his sisters and family and his brother Billy telling us how good their brother Doug was on the guitar.
Yeah, Ted would talk about him as well.
They had no recordings.
Wow.
Really is, so you never really got to hear him.
Yeah.
With Ted. And I wanted to make sure that didn't happen with my brothers and the people I was around at the time, which is why another reason we always try to collaborate. Okay. And have people on the album with us so that we have a record of that. Now, the next thing was, because we're an organization and we're not, a super organization, but we're an organization. If you can get your church to back you for, let's say, 2,000 to 4,000 or 5,000 CDs on a release, it's a lot of record companies, small record companies, that's enough for them to invest, and that puts them down the road where they can get another 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 out, and you can have, and so the economics of it is you actually have enough with your organization to make a record company see you as viable.
Right.
And as far as, you know, people always criticize every recording that you come out with. This could have been better, that could have. Well, you get better as you go.
Right.
It's just.
It's that simple.
Just that if you keep working at it, you get better artists, you get better, the equipment gets better, you get better engineers.
Yeah.
And so the church still has a chance and it's still going places, but the house of God, we definitely could do better on that front.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, Facebook, for everyone that is watching, I am here with the Campbell Brothers, and we're really talking everything music, everything church history, everything just the legacy of what you know as sacred steel music. You know, you're so right, Chuck, and even Phil, to you guys' point. I think that's why we're able to even have this conversation now, because we did change the paradigm. I remember Ted talking about his brother Billy. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not his brother Billy, but Doug. And Doug was he talked about how Ted would say, hey, Doug was a better musician than I was. You know, Ted would say that, like, and I'm saying to myself, like, wow. And you're right, to not have a recording, to not have anything with him on it or with them together on it, yeah, that is heartbreaking. But we can change the paradigm. We can change the trajectory of where we're going now, to even where things are headed. So again, that's why I feel I made a big deal out of it, because you guys did. I mean, just to hear you talk about it and why you did it. You know, you want to know the reason, or you really want to know. You want to get to the crux of the heart of a person. You always ask why, and to hear your why, that says it all. And what you guys have done, it really has. It started a trend in all of us. Yeah, we're still who we are as individuals, but we've taken your lead, so to speak, and delving into places and doing it with integrity, doing it with respect, doing it still, you know, as the old folks the old saints used to say, take the Lord along with you everywhere you go. You know, still with that in our minds and hearts, because that's what it is. So, no.
Well, let me, you know, and you lead to another point, which is again back to what Chuck has said. We want to encourage everybody, all of you all, that are recording, that are artists, whatever stage you're in, to keep going, because, you know, if you're not where you want to be right now, your next project literally could be your breakthrough project. Right. And so, you know, that's why we want to encourage, you know, we're happy that, you know, Fat Man and his group has come out with a new album, right? Yes. And we encourage people to check that out. And, you know, they were raising the question like, hey, you know, our first album wasn't that. Like, yeah, exactly. I was one neither. So don't worry about it. You're going to get better. It's the same. It's amazing to say. I gave them the same message. I said, you're going to get better. Each project will become better. You're going to become better as musicians, as artists, all those things. And you will see the growth over time. Don't worry about it. Just keep bringing that music forth and keep exercising your gift and your talent, and you'll see. And so we give that encouragement to everybody. Please bring forth what God has put in you, because that's when you're going to see and reap the benefits of what you're blessed with. But you got to put it forth. You got to put the seed forth. That's the only way it happens. Yeah. And so, you know, so no, that's something we've always tried to encourage whenever we talk to people, whenever we can help people. And, you know, we want to take the time here to say it here.
Well, we appreciate it. And I'm so grateful that you all are here. I promise I'm going to end this and we'll get going. There's so many people sending out love to you all, of course, of passing of your brother. And again, we respected you all's time, and I did not, as bad as I wanted to interview and talk to you all, I did not push the issue because I wanted to give you all time. to do that. But so much love, even from the musicians. Whenever I would go on, it's probably not a segment that somebody did not talk about Darick and the legacy that he left on them and to them, and just what he was to all of us. So
no, he was the magic spark, for us. That's kind of how we viewed him. He was our he was our element, man, that he brought to it. And it make no mistake, but back to Chuck's point, we're grateful that we had the recordings, right?
Yeah.
That you can always still go back and check this man out. And be honest with you, it goes without saying that when you're in the presence of greatness, sometimes you don't even realize it. And when you go back and listen to the way this man was putting it down, it truly is amazing.
Yeah.
The way Darick played, and I'm just grateful to have been able to been on stage as many times as we did with him, and and I'll go back and say it for Chuck too. I remember Chuck and I were having an interview, and it's kind of interesting. And the guy said, "Hey, so what do you think about being on stage with your brothers?" And I told him, I said, my response to that was, I said, to be honest with you, every time we mount the stage, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm grateful, and I always said there's always a bit of a choke up getting on the stage with these guys, because you just never know. And that interview was a couple of years ago, and I just said you never know, and you just can't take it for granted, because this is a wonderful, beautiful thing to be on stage with these guys. Yeah. And again, we didn't know that we lose Darick this soon, but like I said, I'm just grateful for the time that we were able to do this thing. It was truly wonderful.
Yeah. Well, we all miss him, and yeah, he was that. Darick was that dude. Darick was that guy for all of us, and I think for me, it's the fast driving, man. He get to Atlanta to Macon in 15 minutes. That's what I'm gonna miss. I never forget though this story. Me and Jay came down from Detroit, and we were all at Jekyll Island, and we had to have him to the airport by 6:00, and literally getting off the guitar, unplugging his guitar, putting it in the case. We hit the road, and we probably did it in about 2 hours and some change flat. And we got to the airport, I promise you. We were breaking all kind of laws, but God's mercy and grace got us to that airport on time. But yeah, that was the legacy of Darick, man. So all of the talks that I do, I always end with just some advice that you all can leave with others, especially the younger generation, musicians that are coming up, you name it. D, since you're on here, we can start with you, because you've kind of talked about the business side of things, and even what you've done in conjunction with your state, your city, in getting the music out and involving the community. What would you want to leave with somebody?
The one thing that I want everybody to understand and to know, in relationship to all of this, and specifically in relationship to my brothers, is that we were taught humility. Humility will take you a long way in life. Your gifting will make room for you anyway, and will place you before great men. But with that, you must walk humbly with God in order for him to truly use you as a vessel, and he will open doors. And it's also about helping others and not being attention seeking, putting yourself out there. Let others brag on you. My brothers have not even shared a tenth of the things that have come about as a result of their lives and as a result of their music. And just want to encourage everybody to do what you do. Let God elevate you, and in due time, things will happen on your behalf. But humility is key. Humility and service, they go hand in hand.
That's right. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And thank you for doing this. Thank you for joining on the live feed. Phil, so twofold, because Dee Dee said it and she talked about it, since y'all being modest, you know, some of the stuff that you guys are working on and some of the new projects or things that you guys got going. What are they? And then if you want to leave your last little advice.
Yeah. So, you know, so what's really kind of taken over my life lately is Black Lives Matter. And it's to the point, Dee Dee and I have been having a lot of conversation around this. And you know, I don't want to get too far out on this thing, but what it comes down to is I think that we as Black people have to take a hard look at ourselves in the middle of all this. As we're demanding justice and as we're demanding that people help rectify these things, that there's stuff that we need to be doing too. And we need to get our act together. And so in that regard, I've been having conversations with my colleagues at my company. Our company is trying to figure out how they can respond, what they can do to help. And we're trying to formulate a strategy and program in place, and I'm trying to work on that to that they can do something substantial and also sustainable.
Yeah.
Right. Can't just be, hey, this is the George Floyd moment.
Right.
It's got to be something that will continue forward. And so that's what we're trying to formulate now. So I'm in the middle of that program, that project, I should say. I'm also working on something, a community project to help parents going back to school with their kids and helping to help parents that may be technically challenged to be able to help connect their children with the distance learning portals. So I'm working on that. And then we're also working on a new album, right? We're starting to work on that and talk about what that new album could look like. And, you know, having those discussions with Chuck about what that project will look like and what it will come to be. So, you know, I'll get still busy, still trying to make some things happen. And, you know, thankful that in a position to go affect some things. As far as advice, you know, I say, keep your hands in God's hands.
Come on, preacher.
Boom, because he took Gilligan off the island. So no, but I think it really goes that, you know, God will, even in the midst of all this tragedy and all that we're going through, God will still prove himself. And that as much as we've gone through, he is still blessing us and still letting us know that he's with us. By continuing to make things happen for us and continue to bring us opportunities, continue to bring us things, just to make sure that we know we're not alone and he has not forsaken us despite what we're going through. And so, you know, I'm still extremely encouraged, despite the challenges of 2020, that I've now started calling it's a year of pain so that we can have change.
Wow. Okay, I got to write that down. Year of pain so we can have change.
Right.
That's good.
That's pretty good, Jesse Jackson.
That's
I am somebody.
That's good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
All right, Chuck, it's on you, man. Any new projects and your word of advice for us?
Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody, you in particular, and for your series here. It's been a real blessing to a lot of us. And everybody that has mentioned my name, I can just tell you that as much joy as I brought you, you brought me more joy. And it's been, I wouldn't be who I was if it wasn't for the ones that I have come in contact with. So the thing I want to say is that I want you all to continue to pray for us, because I've been in sort of it's been very hard for me to get going.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't expect Darick to leave. You know, I just, And I've always had the support of my family, every one of them. And I've always had the support of the church family. And it's been very hard. And I miss, not the General Assembly not being held this year.
Yeah.
Although you might not go, you still check in.
Mm-hmm.
And just hear different things. And I just want to encourage everybody to keep doing and keep on going, because the music is a ministry, and you are ministers.
Yes.
Whether you and some of everybody that has come on here, man, some of the sermons they preached. I've been really blown away by the way they preach, and for our brothers from the Jewel Dominion and from different other churches, and I tell you, we've been blessed with so much that the Lord has given us in the way of culture that is our own,
right? That
nobody else has. Right. And let's just continue to do what we're doing, because I haven't been, with all our travel, with all the groups that are out there, we all get the same response. Whether it's Robert, Roosevelt, AJ, Lee Boys, it doesn't matter. The ladies out there playing, everybody say when we hit the stage, and even you, Dante, we've heard great things from you from different churches and different musicians. The younger guys that are coming up are just unbelievable. We thank God for our band and, the Bennett boys being with us, and our peers, and their father, Lonnie, has been a brother to me, and Calvin and Ted and everybody. I just can't stop. And then when you think about our ministers, a lot of people are praying for you.
Right.
Don't listen to the criticism and think that's the majority. Most of the church people are so proud of us, and they let us know it. And so you keep doing what you're doing. The Lord is blessing us. We're going to continue to work hard, and we just pray for everybody to do the same, because the Lord is truly blessing us. Yeah. And in due time, we will get what's coming our way, but what is here right now, you got to be thankful for it.
Yeah.
We're really blessed.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you guys so much. I don't take it lightly that you guys took time out of your schedule to do this, and so many people just been showering you all with love, and I'm just glad you all are here to receive it all. So from me and from everyone that is watching on Facebook, we love you. We love you all. We love you all, and we just we're thankful for the legacy that you all are continuing to not only lead but leave for us. And I'm grateful. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and comment. Subscribe today.